But making use of her buffs and certainly pushing out a double kill for their team right there. So now Annie is going to make use of no top lane being there, and he is going to push up with Tibbers. Tibbers is a great assistance in taking down that tower. He does good damage, and he soaks up the damage pretty well. The tower does automatically focus him when he comes into range, so he will not last forever, but he is essentially like a tank caster mob right there, as you can see, that, and it soaks up about the same amount of damage. And if that Ezreal doesn't actually come up here soon, they actually may end up taking that tower, but no, those creeps did get blocked, and they did get pushed out. But right now, Annie is in a great position. She's 3-0-1, 13 minutes into the game, and certainly is making great use of the Soul Stealer with 2 stacks so far. That Heimer did get lucky there and not get pulled by that grab. I don't know if it's because he missed the grab. I didn't see either he missed or if he was blinded. I couldn't remember if blind actually makes rocket grab miss. I don't think it did, but in any case, it was very lucky. One thing about the enemy team right there, and again, they were trying to gank that Heimer. Luckily, there was a ward there so they could see it. But oh no, that was the enemy ward, but Nidalee's trap actually caught that. But one thing I was going to say was the enemy team right now completely relies around the Blitzcrank Alistar combo. Basically, they're relying on Blitzcrank's ability to pull someone unexpectedly into a situation where they can then quickly DPS them. In all reality, the enemy team right now has 2 DPS. They have Ezreal and they have Pantheon. And the other ones are 2 tanks, essentially. And, I mean, Blitzcrank can do some damage, but in all reality, his damage is pretty much a slight burst, and not really enough to say that he's actually considered a DPS carry. He's more support DPS. But, yeah, like I said, their complete team relies on pulling those individuals into circumstances which are incorrect. And that Nidalee needs to be careful. She could get pulled by Blitz, and if she gets pulled by Blitz, then it's pretty much game over her, because like I said, the Alistar Blitz combo is so deadly. But nice job, though, keeping them at the tower. That tower is going to go down there. And if they just focus that tower down really quickly, that could actually mop up this team. Oh, but Pantheon is going to ultimate down there. And now, oh, Annie does get pulled, but nice flash over the wall. But there is that stun combo again, and she's going to have to burn her ultimate there. She does not get a kill with it. Like I said, that stun combo between Blitz and Alistar, it's so hard to get away from that in time just because it's so deadly and so much CC. But she did end up losing one of her stacks there. She's down to 1 stack, but she does have 1,500 gold, so nice gold to spend when she comes back. And now we see Garen here coming in. Garen is going to go for a typical Sunfire tank build for Garen. That's actually very deadly for a Garen. And he does have also an Oracle so that he can actually spot all those wards that you saw put down. And it doesn't look like they're going to get a kill there. It looks like the team is going to escape, especially with Soraka there. And Nidalee does need to be careful because Nidalee is in the position to actually get hit by Ezreal. In fact, I think Nidalee did die to Ezreal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it looks like that's what happened. But Garen, again, showing his ability to completely tank that damage and take out that Pantheon despite Soraka healing him. So good job there. But yeah, it's when team fights in this magnitude break out, certainly the thing you got to watch for is those grabs. Because those grabs are going to be what define the team fight. If Blitzcrank can't grab an individual, then the team fight is going to definitely go in Annie's team's favor. Just because they have much more burst damage. And in the end, 2 tanks with a healer, you're really severely lacking in damage. And right now, the blue team is up 3 towers, so it's 3 towers to zip. So right now, they're in a pretty good spot. And you see nice placement of wards. They do see that they're doing Golem, and Annie is going to try to come up here and seal it. She does need to be careful, though, because Soraka can silence her, and then with enough damage, she would be able to... Oh, she does end up stealing... blue buff, but if she would have ran in there, good thing that she could pull it, she could disintegrate from across the map. But one thing she needed to watch out for is, Soraka actually silencing her, because if, let's say in team fights, Soraka silences Annie, that's a while with, no mass AoE stun from Annie, and she really needs to watch out not to get silenced by that. But right now, the blue team is in a great position. They have great map awareness using those using the wards, and they are great, you know, with especially with Heimer on their team, really able to push up and really, you know, make a presence in the enemy team's lane. But of course, Blitzcrank does need to be careful. He is pushing up there to try to grab, but because of the ward placement, they can see him, and with Nidalee's long range on her Q, she can do massive damage. Like you just saw that Ezreal just took about half of his HP in just one simple hit. So right now they're making good use of staying behind their creeps, because if they stay behind their creeps, Blitzcrank will not be able to get a grab. And like I said, that's the whole strategy revolving around that team comp, is to have Blitzcrank pull someone and then do the damage around that. And that's really, really hard to do. Sorry, I just hit my mic. It's really hard to do if the other team is competent, simply because you can stay behind creeps or you can buy a Banshee's Veil. It just makes it super hard to do. But you see down there, I don't know if you can pay attention, but Tristana and Garen just about to secure Dragon, which is going to give them an extra 130 gold and experience. And you actually should see that pop up on the screen here pretty soon, that they did get that 130 gold. And once they get that, like every time they secure Dragon for their team, there's the pop up 130 gold. Every time they secure that, that's basically like them farming for an extra 2 to 3 minutes in lanes. And you know, that's one thing the enemy team is not doing, is they're not placing wards there, and they're not being aware of, you know, when Dragon's up and, you know, actually going to get it, which is an issue that just definitely. And as you can see, Tristana is securing that red buff as well. So right now the enemy team is pushing up in the lane. You can see Annie and Heimer are going to position themselves to defend that. Once Heimer gets 3 red turrets up in a lane against the tower, you really can't double push that lane. You could full team push that, but it's super hard just because you have to kill those turrets. And unless you have a mass AoE, it actually becomes extremely difficult to kill those turrets at max rank. So right now, they know the enemy team is by their golem spawn. They're just trying to push up some. And right now, it's just kind of that limbo stage where, you know, mid-team fights. And we do see they are going to go... Oh, they do see Soraka trying to get that creep camp right there. And we did see Nidalee actually Ghost to try to pick off Soraka. But also Ezreal was there, and Ezreal actually ends up going down. But now, there goes Heimer. I saw as soon as Blitzcrank, he's going to pull him over the wall. And Heimer just really has not had a lot of luck this game. He's died about 3 times now for the enemy team. And, you know, it's okay, though. He's doing his job of defending. Oh, but nice flash Blitzcrank. I mean, nice flash from Alistar, actually knocking up Annie into the wall. And Annie's actually going to end up dying. Oh, she may get away. Wow. She's actually... Oh, no, she dies to Ignite. But that was pretty impressive. She was actually able to get in there and actually use her ultimate to take a mass stun on the enemy team. And I think that in the end, that's actually going to win it for that team fight, obviously, for that team. And nice Nidalee jump away to dodge Blitzcrank's stun. And then actually goes around the corner and ends up using her Q to kill Blitzcrank. So I'm actually fairly impressed with this Nidalee. It's quite a good Nidalee. And you see they're pushing up middle lane here, and right now this it's been completely one-sided. DIN0 or DIN0, they've completely dominated this game. And while the enemy team does have some kills underneath their belt, they just have not been able to push a tower. And Alistar is actually a very good tower pusher, especially with his ultimate on. But we just don't see that play. We don't see that Alistar going in there, and they may actually end up having to resort to backdooring here soon, after getting like an ace or a few kills, like I'd say 3 kills, in order to actually come back, because it's going to take them a while. They don't, other than Ezreal's ability to increase attack speed, they would need Ezreal with creeps in order to take that tower out. Otherwise, it is, it's just going to take too long, and their DIN0 team, the blue team, is going to end up getting there too quickly. But we did see Ezreal ended up taking out Heimer once again. Heimer is just getting the brute force of their anger right now. So right now, looks like Annie is just going to be farming up. She's trying to finish her Rod of Ages. Level 11 Rod of Ages is pretty typical unless you rush it. So level 11, 12, she'll, Rod of Ages. That's pretty standard. It could be a little faster, but considering she was finishing off her boots and she got Soul Stealer, which is up to 3 stacks now, it's definitely definitely not too bad in times wise. And she's got 519 gold, and I believe Rod of Ages is 850. So she does need a little bit more, but still making use out of the Callus. And we did see that Alistar and Ezreal were there, but they're like, I'm out of here. It's going to take way too long to try to kill Garen, and they just know that Annie was around there too. I don't know if they actually spotted Annie. They may have actually seen her because I believe they were in that brush. But they're like, oh, GG, we'll see you later. I'm actually surprised that Annie hasn't actually taken a rank of her E, simply because I like to take a rank of my E early on, like level 5, just so that I can kind of charge up my stun that much quicker. Because other than that, you'll have to use your W if you want to pre-charge it before the team fight. And it just makes more sense to use your E, less mana, and it just, doesn't actually waste it. And, it's a cooldown that you can live without for a couple seconds. Whereas your W is pretty useful in mass AoE stunning. So yeah, they're just keeping the pressure on. They're not letting up. If you look on all 3 lanes right now, all 3 of them are pretty pushed to at least the outside towers. Alistar is cleaning up bottom, and then middle tower has already been pushed, so that they're getting close to the inhibit tower. I can see that the Pantheon does have red pot, so Annie does need to be careful. If she stays in there a little bit too long, you see their their team is actually going for Baron, so Annie is trying to keep the middle, but she needs to make herself present known while actually staying out of danger. And I'm actually worried to see where their enemy team is. They did just get Baron, so that's great. 250 gold too, so that will secure her Rod of Ages for her. But I don't know if the enemy team actually does know that they did Baron, simply because, well, they probably saw it because Annie was there killing the creeps and then she got the buff. But I was assuming they were lining up a gank or something, because the whole team just disappeared. Nobody actually saw where the team went. But we do see Ezreal in the middle lane now. And at this point, what the purple team needs to do is they need to turtle. They need to turtle their hearts out, because with no towers underneath the belt and with the blue team having Baron buff, if they tried to initiate a team fight, again, like I said, they would either have to gank them without them knowing. They can't just initiate head-to-head. But because of all the ward placement and the Nidalee traps, it's going to be very difficult to do, because there's not really any places that they can hold up to actually sit in and wait for the enemy team without them already knowing that they're there. And as you can see here, Annie, like I said, is using that E to pre-charge. But like I was saying, they need to either turtle and wait for Baron buff to fall out, which is 4 minutes, or they need to line up themselves in a place where they can completely gank using Blitzcrank's pull. Otherwise, they aren't going to have a good enough time actually, pushing out. They're not going to actually make anything happen, really. And as you can see, they are taking wards out on the field, so in the end, the enemy team doesn't really know where the whole team is. I mean, they have a general idea. They just saw them kill that ward, but they could have doubled back and gone to the other side, or they could, obviously right now they're sitting in this brush. So the enemy team's pretty much blind at this point. And because their whole team comp relies around those team fights and those pools, if they catch them off guard, they're going to have an extremely hard time actually making anything happen in that team fight. Clairvoyance just did go off in the wolf camp in the top right hand corner, but I'm not sure if they actually spotted the team in those bushes right there, simply because it may have been too far away. If it was a little closer, it definitely would have spotted them, but I'm not sure if it actually did that time. So as we can see here, they are going to push up. The one thing they got to watch out for here is Blitzcrank's pull. You can see he's moving back and forth because he's constantly trying to find an opening to pull. But good use of the creeps there to make sure that they're behind. And yeah, like I said, they're turtling. This is exactly what they need to do to make anything happen. Oh, nice grab by Blitzcrank. And as you see, Nidalee will die there. But Annie just comes in with her Tibber Sun and completely decimates. Wish going off, but with Ignite, Wish doesn't do as much damage. There goes Soraka. And looks like right now, yeah, they're going to focus on Pantheon. With this team, they really need to focus. Oh, Pantheon's actually going to get away because Tristana ultis. With this team composition, all they have to do is ignore Blitzcrank and ignore Alistar and just go for Soraka and the squishies. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen.